Welcome to Watching with Styles preview of Georgia. Now, I apologize again for last week. I couldn't do it because I was out of town with the family. But here we go, back in action. Listen, I don't know. I believe this is the case for this. There was a lot of pub and a lot of words thrown around with this Georgia defense. And I haven't really watched Georgia play. I watched a little bit of that Arkansas game. I'm like, this game is over. Once they scored, and then there was I can't remember what happened, and there Arkansas ended the field. They got like all these penalties and punt the ball, and Georgia got the ball like at the 40 or 50 or something like that. I'm like, okay, this game's over. These guys are not into it. So I only watched a little bit of that game, and I watched it as a fan. I didn't watch it critiquing and analyzing. I just watched it as a fan of football, and I'm like, okay, all right, Georgia's pretty good. But then I've come to watch film on them, and yes, the defense is good. But all the words that I've heard, volatile and physicality and all that stuff, is true to a point. But they're not as a lot of people are saying. And like I was expecting them to create a new line of scrimmage, like 2 yards on the other side of the ball. I expected them to not give up anything. And I expected them to pretty much be like not penetratable. And I'm gonna tell you, you watch this game here. Auburn had chances in the first half. And they didn't capitalize on it. There is one play in particular that I will show later that's a bona fide touchdown. I mean, the guy is wide, butt naked open. If Bo Nix doesn't try to do his Houdini act and do the crazy scramble drills and all that stuff, this game might be different at half. And it should be different at half because what I'm about to show you. Here's the thing, if you've watched me any time for long enough, I scream about quarterbacks climbing the pocket. And Bo Nix almost hurts his offense as much as he helps it with this. He thinks he can escape every freaking rush, and it becomes detrimental. So let's get into it, though. This is the first drive. First drive, okay? There's no crazy push. Auburn gets 3 yards. Not saying that's great, but it's not like people can't get yards on them. And there's openings. Georgia's different from the Georgia that I've seen in the past. They are not. They are more, as some people say, soft. But I'm gonna say they play more coverage than they used to. They used to be in your face, press man, and that's how they got to you. But they also gave up big plays. This is something that I saw an improvement from Will last week. It's the ability to get off of one and know where number two is. I'm not sure which is number one. I don't know if he was thinking they're going to play man and the running back would be open. But he comes to two. And there's a little window here for him to fit it in. Because what they're doing with this smart route combination is if it's a zone, they're going to run this guy here. He's going to go Tom route. So what happens is it expands this linebacker because he has to respect it. And it makes this window even bigger. Okay? Because this linebacker is going to typically be right over the ball. He should be actually a little bit over here. But so it goes from 1 to 2. That's good work by Nix right there. We're going to have the same thing. See the routes? Or he actually came across. So they cross, high, low. That's good work, man. Good catch. And here's what other fans need to understand is the reason why this is a great pass, because you don't want to lead him into this hit. Oh, don't tell me it's not going to work. Looks like I'm locked up, y'all. This software is really about to um, make me think, try to find something else. But let's try it again. So when you pass the ball, especially on the college and pro level, sometimes you got to keep your receiver safe. And the way you keep your receiver safe is by not throwing them into trouble. And sometimes leading a receiver perfectly leads to throwing them into trouble. And that's why that pass is a great pass, is because he saved this receiver. I'm getting there, guys. He saved this receiver from potentially running to the linebacker. Oh. Give me a second, guys. You know what? Right when I was going to say I'm just going to start over, it gets me right to it. See that linebacker right here? Right there? He leads him. He gets him decapitated, potentially. So that's a great throw, which many people say, oh, he threw it behind him. The receivers in college has to make the catch when the ball touched their hands. It's just that simple. See this, all this stuff here? See all this scramble? Let me show you something real quick. Now, all that scrambling he did, look at this freaking lane right there. All he had to do was step up into that. And if he wants to run, then continue to run. But now he's going to go out the backside of the pocket. He runs into a guy. Now he's going this way, makes it hard on everybody. Climb the pocket. The game is so much easier. We will be able to run a little bit against them. We will not have 300 yards rushing or even probably 250. But the closer we get to 200 yards of rushing, the better the chance of us winning. And this is another thing that I'm interested in. Now, I don't want to be in this situation much because I don't think it's a winning down for us. But 3rd and 4 or more, they take out Jordan Davis and they put in speed guys because they think you're going to pass. And I think there's opportunities to do this because they're a little lighter in the ass up front when Jordan isn't in there. Look how Auburn just washes this down because they got linebackers trying to fake blitz. They're moving around. They're getting all cute. Well, 3rd and 6, 5, 6, 7 even. We can maybe run against that. Especially with this big mamma jamma out the game. With him out the game, it might be advantageous to run. Here, look, we cannot have these situations. The reason why, this is when offensive coordinators pull their hair out. I want you to think about this. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? That's 10 guys. They have a safety. Man free deep in the middle. He's off the screen, okay? So now think about this. When this guy comes, right? These 2 guys are locked up, man. They got a safety on the top. Who's guarding that guy? No one, because he blitzed. This is, you cannot dial up a play in a situation better than this. There's nobody out there. They got a hat on a hat. If he catches the freaking ball, he might be running all the way to Auburn. He might not get caught until he get to Alabama. Right, when he crosses the state line. There's nobody out here because this guy blitzed. And he's responsible for that guy. Catch the freaking ball. We cannot get, look, hold on, I can get back to it. Look at that, hat on a hat. They are trying to block. There's only one guy in the middle of the field. Dude, those are the things that you cannot mess up. You got to make every play. When you got a good defense that's not going to give much, you got to make every play. That last pass, we got a chance with tight ends. Tight ends and backs. Quarterback runs. Those are two things we're going to have to take advantage of. And I would like to see a heavy dose of McClain and Donut in situations where we get the back out the backfield and one of those is the leaking back. See, again, he gets away with it. But stop going backwards. This is a big guy. You could sidestep him. If you watched Tom Brady last night, you understand how to just move a little bit in the pocket. You don't have to go backwards. You got away with it, but you step up in the pocket. See that? Step up in the pocket. Go here. Now, you would have saw him about right here instead of all the way over here. Right? Watch him in the middle of the field. You would have saw him about right there. Now he could potentially cut up. But it worked out. It works out sometimes. There was a benefit to that. But the drill is to step up in the pocket, help your offensive line out. Because when you go backwards, it leads to holding calls. It leads to holding calls. Again, you cannot not make a play. That's a touchdown. What? This is another one. Coach Bobo has called 2 plays on this drive that should have been at least touchdowns or better plays. Now look, he's got 2 guys open. The running back and the tight end. 2 guys open. Georgia still hasn't identified them until now. You got to make that catch. You just have to. I know it's a fullback, but you got to make that catch. So think about it. That's 7 points. Right? That was easy peasy. Now they got away with this. They call that incomplete pass. His arm was going forward. It was, but yeesh. Now you third. Now you got to kick a field goal, which that should have been a touchdown. All right. Did you see anything on that drive from the defense that was like, oh my God, we can't move the ball at all on them? They marched the ball down the field. That's all I'm saying. Now our offense comes on the field. Auburn is definitely lubed up by the support of the fans. We won't have that option this week, but this Georgia offense is good, it's efficient, it's complementary to the defense, but they go 3 and out. They go 3 and out. Brings Auburn right back on the field. Now watch this. Now we are going to have to be cognizant, and we cannot be impatient, is of their games and their stunts. And they got Auburn on that. They did a little blitz on the outside. They got him. This is going to be, Will has to be a participant in the run game. If he's a participant in the run game, there's openings. And he stands in the pocket and doesn't try to go out the backside of it. There are openings. Okay? It's there. There's nothing crazy about this defense. Now, watch this. That's an interception. I want you to see something. I'm going to point him out now. Watch this guy. Now, here's the thing. And I tweeted this out this week. One thing about Georgia, about the defense, I'm not seeing the volatility and the physicality and all that stuff. What I'm seeing is they're fundamentally sound. But when they blow a coverage, when they blow a freaking coverage, you got to get it to them. Look at it. He's jumping him. No one has that guy. Remember what happened on the play where they had the bubble screen and the guy dropped it? He has him probably because he has him. Okay? But the safety knows it's a corner blitz, it's a cowboy blitz, so he's got to take the corner guy, so he's going to be on him. But the linebacker, that's his guy. They both blitz. He is wide open. There is nobody. Like I said, that guy right here is driving here because he has to take the corner man. That guy is wide, butt naked open. You can't let those go by, and now they get a turnover. That's a double whammy. You missed the wide open guy, and then you get a turnover. We got to be cognizant of Bennett and his ability to be included in the run game. That's the advantage of him over JT. Not scared of the receivers at all. That doesn't mean they're not good. They're just not striking fear in me. They can catch the ball. They run good routes. Look, it's 3rd and short. After a sudden change, right? Auburn brings a little pressure on this play. Good call by Georgia, roll them out. But now they got to kick a field goal after a sudden change. I am interested to see how much we include Will in the run game. That is a must for me. And I said that before the Florida game. We must get something out of him in the run game. It makes the defense more honest. Now, I'm not always a fan of the rollout because what happens is it shrinks the field on you. And definitely not against Georgia because of their speed, but also he's got to throw this. He's got to get this out of his hand. He's throwing to his strong hand. He's got to get that out of his hand. Right? He's just got to trust it. And I know he was thinking that corner might sit, but you gotta drop it in, drop it to his back shoulder so he don't run into the corner. Just like he dropped on the back shoulder earlier. There's nothing from either side of the ball of Georgia just scaring me right now. And that's why I tweeted out, I said, I feel good right now. Because I expected something crazy. But I don't know if teams are coming in apprehensive. We cannot give up big plays like that. We got to keep them in front, make them keep snapping. I think if we make them keep snapping, they're going to do things like this. We're going to get them behind the chains. Once you get them behind the chains, it's when you have to capitalize. So look, now that's 2nd and 10, right? They call a penalty on that. There is nothing this kid did wrong. His head is back, looking towards the ball. Where is the penalty? So they gave him that one. They gave him yards. Look at that. Now think about this. That's about to be 3rd and 3. They got him on a targeting call. Now it's 1st and goal. Do we not remember the 2nd series Georgia had after sudden change turnover? They had to kick a field goal. I think if they go 3rd and 3, they don't get that one. They will have to kick a field goal again. You cannot. And not only did they get a targeting call on 1st and goal, they lost their best safety. So that's a double whammy. See, that's why I don't talk much about other games because I don't watch other games. Now, the only time you're going to hear me talk much about a game is if I'm watching it. See, you can say this game ended up, what did it end up in? I can't, 30 something to 10, something like that. Oh, you say, oh my God, Georgia just annihilated them. Oh, it was 17-3 at half. Oh, it was not even close. Look at the stats. You can't look at the stats. You got to look at the game in its entirety. Because from right now, Auburn missed. It wasn't like it was luck. They had a fullback wide open in zone. Quarterback threw it to him. He dropped it. That's a touchdown. They had another opportunity where they got a guy wide open, uncovered. He throws it to the tailback. He gets intercepted. That's a big swing. When you watch the game and you watch every play, and I'm not going to watch the Clemson game because the Clemson game was the first game of the season. Georgia's not the same team they were that week. That's why you watched the last week. And I'm going to tell you this, Georgia's not the same team they were last week because they lost a couple players if they're not able to play this week. Tailback on their linebackers are great against the run because they're fast and they're long and they're great tacklers. They're not so good in coverage though, which is kind of what our that's not uncommon for linebackers in college. Look at that. There, I'm not gonna go back. There is nothing that you're seeing right here that makes you say, we can't do nothing against Georgia. They're just impossible. Now, Georgia gets lucky. They run a guy on the field, and Auburn is looking at the quarterback because they're trying to quick snap, and they leave him unblocked. He's the guy who slows this down. It's kind of, is that lucky? I don't know. What you want to call it? But they are good now. Don't get me wrong. They are a good team. They are just not a juggernaut. They are good. And they have very talented guys like this guy here. He was a freak of nature tight end. He's humongous. But listen to me. See, people not going to, this is why you watch the game. This guy is the backup to the guy who got thrown out the game for targeting. Just saying. He didn't play this very well at all. He still lost. He still don't know if he's supposed to cover a man, if it's zone. He still lost. That's the difference. There's a lot of things that happened in the first half that could have been avoided. But if you don't watch the game, you wouldn't know. And they run a little stop and go on this guy, gets him to the red zone. You can see it at the top of the screen. Watch the top of the screen. He runs a little out and up. You see him chatter down right there. Goes an out route and up. I'm going to say this later on in this drive too. As a DB, eye discipline is so important. You cannot, every play isn't an interception worthy play. And that's hard for any DB to understand. And I understood, I got the grasp of that in practice as a freshman. Because you start hunting down interceptions and you never get them because the opponent knows that he's aggressive and he can go for anything. Your eyes has to always be on the receiver at all times until you know without a shadow of a doubt that receiver is running that route and you have a true chance for interception. And sometimes you have to just bypass one. You just can't go for all of them. You got to be technically sound in your discipline, in your technique, because now they're in 3rd and goal again. This offense has some trouble in the red zone. Watch the route down at the bottom. I'm going to tell you what it is. We call it Tom route. He goes here and here. I, if it goes over 20 points, we're gonna win. Because here's the thing: this offensive group is spearheaded by the defense. Because they know, and the offense coordinator knows they don't have to do anything crazy to score points. But they know the defense isn't gonna give up that many in their head. If we can get over 20 points, then they're gonna start pressing for the first time this year. Watch this DB here. There's like cardinal sins on everything, and I'm gonna show you. There's another cut of it. Okay. First of all, you never get beat by the outside move. You stay your little butt inside. You stay inside and force everything. Make the quarterback throw the fade route. That's a hard throw to complete. If they throw a fade route on me, I'm gonna shake his hand and the quarterback hand. You got to stay inside to prevent the easy throw. That's first technique, number one. So now he's beat. So now you have to scramble. When you beat, which means you are in a disadvantage, your eyes never go to the quarterback. Your eyes stay on the guy that you're covering. Your eyes stay here because you're in a compromising position. So now he gets caught because he's like, oh, it's a slant. He gets caught. If his eyes are on him, he could potentially, listen to me, because we had this conversation today about the interference rule. He could have potentially jammed him if his eyes were not at the quarterback. Because you can jam anywhere on the field as long as the ball's not in the air. So now his eyes still on the quarterback. Look at it. That is a big no. Why are you in a cookie jar when you got beat off the line of scrimmage? When your eyes are back to the quarterback, you cannot run fast. Here is the advantage. DB 101. The receiver has the advantage because he's running forward, you're running backwards. That's common sense knowledge, right? But you have an advantage because the receiver has to always look back at the quarterback. And you don't. So you kind of negate that advantage because you time yourself. Anyone can time themselves. Time yourself running like 20 yards or 30 yards and run 20 yards with your head like you have a quarterback. Time yourself doing that and then time yourself just looking straight down the field. You will run quite a bit faster, a couple tenths. A few tenths depends on how fast you are. So as a DB, your advantage now is to keep your eye on the receiver so you can negate that advantage that you got when you lost the inside leverage. This is horrible technique. You can't do that. Now you let down the other 10 guys on your team because your technique was horrible. There's run lanes. I'm telling you, it's there, man. It's there. It is there. And I'm going to tell you something else is there. What if Bo Nix would have kept it? It's there. It's not that you cannot run on them. One thing about it, you have to be patient and dedicated to it. You can't just give it up because you got a couple negative yard losses. See how he keeps bagging up when his line, people's talking about the pressure. There is a lane there. Look at all the craziness he did. If he would have stepped up in the pocket, if he would have climbed it, right now, all this crap wouldn't have happened. He went nowhere. That was a ghost. Look. He must have felt ghosts. He's going down the ground like he feels somebody. There's nobody even close to him when he pulls the ball down. Look. Right there. It's a guy on the ground. He's jumping up in the air. What is someone seeing ghosts? I guess they seeing the long shadows. Like that. Then he's willing. Oh my goodness. We cannot let that happen. Just being real. Georgia's a good defense, but they are not crazy. They're not crazy. I think what we have in our offense, the way we run our offense, some snaps we take on the center, they haven't seen that. There is an illusion, a huge illusion for linebackers when the quarterback back is turned and he has the ball in his belly, you lose the vision of the ball. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but you lose the vision of the ball. Now, here's the other thing. The ball moves, right? When you're in the shotgun, the linebacker see the ball pretty much from jump. They see it. He runs a read option. They see the ball. Now you can still fake them out with the give or take, but it's a totally different visual optics. When the quarterback turns his back, you lose all concepts of where the ball is. It's a difference. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a difference. And all I need for Will to do is to, when we play action fake, don't look for the home run. Look for the home run. If it's there, take it. If it's not, throw it to another guy or throw it out of bounds or run it. Don't try to force it deep. Because if you watch it, I don't know, I should have said this earlier. They are not playing much man, straight man. They play some too high with man under, but they don't play straight man anymore. Look at this. It's 3rd 9. The score is 17-3 with 5 minutes left. Thank you, Millie. It is what it is. That's the basketball overlaps football. And I'm gonna say this: I am a big fan of the women's basketball team, and I'm good. I'm happy that they will get some visuals for them because that women's team is pretty damn dynamic. So I agree. We shouldn't be talking basketball right now, but I understand. Go watch those women play though. 3rd 9, that ball is in his hands and he drops it. To sustain a drive, I don't know if Bo Nick could have went out there and handed him the ball any better than right there. What are you catching with? Why not catch with your hands? You got your hands. Ugh. Mike Bobo is pissed off. He's called a good damn game against a great defense, and he has nothing to show for it. He got 0 to show for it. Nothing. 3 points. And they should have had definitely 10. Ooh, that's a great throw. That's a great throw. That linebacker, see number 31 right there? Ooh, that linebacker almost got that one. That's close. Now, I haven't seen that, Dylan, but I'm glad some people are saying that. Look, they want to throw the ball. I'm going to tell you. They want to throw the ball in the middle of the field. Ooh, that's close. In the middle of the field, that's the easiest throw. I don't know how many times you heard me say that. The ball across the middle is the easiest throw because it's the exact distance that it's going. It's a shorter throw. So they like to use their tight ends across the middle because they have 2 damn good ones. They like to use their tight ends across the middle, bigger target, easier throw, and they like to go deep. Our linebackers, have to get good drops, and we have to make the plays when they present themselves. I know, Millie. I'm just saying that to everybody. So you're my age then. Ugh, Millie, I'm sorry. Millie, I apologize for putting you through the stress when I was at Kentucky. Those seasons that were not great. Gotta keep him in the pocket. Can't let him buy time and get his receivers extra time to try to get open. But this offense, I want you to see this. Many people will say they scored 17 points. Now I missed that. There's a play that's missing. It was 3rd and 2. They got a sack. It was 4th and like 16, 17, and they had to punt it. I think that's one of the plays I missed that they didn't show. Oh, Dylan, you 26. Oh man, you living through the golden period. Sheesh, you a lucky one. I I I can't wait to see how Will keeps progressing because stuff is there. I want to show this one to you again. Climb the pocket. We got to climb the pocket. They create this for all the stuff that people say about the pass rush. Remember some of the teams that they played. That is about as clean as you can get. His feet are clean as a whistle. There's nothing that should freak you out. There's no reason you need to escape this way. None. It makes no sense. I mean, just stay there, and with your speed, he could have found a window. He could have faked in there. Then that guy would have came there. Then he could have bounced it out. There's so many things that could have happened. Got to be patient in the pocket. Now you just throwing to the backside. Tight end on linebacker. Telling you, those linebackers are freaks, but in coverage, not so much. Not so much in coverage. Now, my man Bo Nix is in the rhythm. He's got a couple plays on his belt. He's in the rhythm. And Georgia's playing that zone. He's taking what they're giving him. Listen to me. Will needs to take what they give you. Cannot press because they're playing 2 high safeties or 1 high. They want you to do something crazy. Look at that. How many drops has he had? That's a good ass throw. And we got a college level receiver letting it hit his helmet. You cannot let these plays escape you. So I hope y'all see all the drops, all the missed opportunities. Now he got one back. Now they're in business. A little bit over a minute left, and they're in striking range. They're there. It's 17-3, and we all know it should be at minimum 17-7. Now, you cannot let this happen. Everybody's got to be on the same page. Now, tell me whose fault is this? Because I don't know. But this guy right here should be in a route probably. He's blocking. Now it just screws everything up. Look at all this action. Everything's screwed up. Some don't look right. Now they just wasted their freaking down. Oh my God. If he would have took a sack there, boy, I think Coach Bobo might have flown through the press box. Another missed pass. Now it's 4th and goal. Now what happened is they're going to kick a field goal. Georgia jumped, so they got the ball closer to the goal line. They decided to go for it. So it could be 17-6 at worst. And now nobody's open and they miss it, and that's the half. Now, did anybody see a team right there that's unbeatable? Did you see a team right there that we can't, if we handle our business and hit the opportunities that we have? Like I said, Auburn first drive. Listen to me. Auburn first drive, drove it down, had a fullback open, he dropped it. Georgia went 3-and-out. Auburn had a guy butt naked open on a blitz, nobody around him. He threw it to the running back who dropped the pass. They got an interception, and they got 3. Should have been something for Auburn because the guy was open. I don't know how far he could have went. I hope he would have scored. But if he throws to the guy who's uncovered on a blitz, there's nobody. The guy who's responsible for him, he blitzed. How many points is that? Do you think they scored? Do you think he can outrun when he's like, he at least has a 10 to 15 yard advantage? Do you think he can outrun Georgia people who's trying to recover? Possibly. That's possibly a touchdown. But they got an interception and they had to kick a field goal. Georgia had to kick a field goal. And think about this. Georgia scored that touchdown on a scramble, 2nd and 11, would have been about 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4. And they got a targeting call. They got a 1st and go. It would have been 3rd and short. But they got on 1st and goal. And Auburn lost their safety. So they scored. Now it's 10-3. Now Georgia later have a big play. They had a 3rd and goal. And the DB from Auburn doesn't have a good technique and gives up a touchdown. Now that would have been, if he would have played the technique right and done what he was supposed to do, that's a field goal. So let's say with all those plays, right, Georgia marched down, but they had 3rd and whatever. They would have had 3rd and whatever on one. They had 3rd and goal on the other. They would have scored 9 points. The score would have been, let's say, 3-9. Even with all the stuff that Auburn did, right? Now, let's say it's 3-9. And Auburn marched down the field like they just did. They would have kicked a field goal. It would have been 6-9 at halftime. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I am not saying that Georgia's not good. Dylan, Bo Nix is very similar to Will. The only difference is Bo Nix thinks, without a shadow of a doubt, he can escape any blitz and throw a ball. And I mean, you saw the LSU one where he did something crazy and got a touchdown. That was a crazy play that most quarterbacks can't make, and most quarterbacks shouldn't make, because what he did was he made it tough on himself. Like in this game, he made it tough on himself in a lot of situations. But I agree with Louis. Will is better. Remember, this is when Will has his mechanics correct, he's better than Bo. Bo has a little more escapability, but Will he's a bigger guy. I think he's better in the run game because he's the physicality. He has a stronger arm. Now he's just got to get used to this offense. And I think he's starting to click a little bit. He's still not there yet, but he's getting better. And he's been decisive. Even when you're, like my DB coach told us, even if y'all checking to the wrong call, as long as you're all running the same thing, we will be fine. We'll live to see another snap. Same thing with Will. As long as Will is decisive with the ball, even if he pulls it down when someone's wide open, it's better to do that than to be indecisive and do something stupid. And I think he's becoming a little bit more decisive. His mechanics were so much better this week. His feet were working with his upper body so much better than it has been. So all I'm saying is, for everybody screaming about how great Georgia defense is, I want y'all to understand. And I'm going to say this. I didn't watch any of the other. I didn't watch South Carolina. I definitely didn't watch Vandy. And I didn't watch whoever that other non-conference. I didn't watch those games. I didn't watch it. And I'm not. But I watched this game. And I believe we're better than Auburn. and Auburn had chances. That's all it's been, Louis. And it's not even reading presses, right? It's seeing highlights. Like for me, I don't watch, like for high school recruits, if you ain't got a good highlight film, you're not a good player. I mean, it's really that simple. If you can't create a good highlight film, you're not a good player. Because everybody has good plays. So now your interpretation of someone is based solely on highlights. That's why coaches go to games to see how they play every snap and not just 10 or 15 snaps or 20 snaps for the year. They have some great highlights. They had a great highlight in this game with the interception off the running back hands. That's a great highlight. You saw some highlights where they had Bo Nix running around. That's a great highlight. But they missed the highlights where Bo Nix could have stepped up in the pocket because the pocket was clean. That's what I'm saying. I feel comfortable. I didn't feel good last week, but if they turned the corner against LSU and put up 42 points, now I said they would beat them by more than 10, but I didn't expect them to put 42 points up though. And things started to click for them, started to click for the running backs. The running backs were doing things I haven't seen. So I think everybody is starting to get comfortable in the system, and I feel good about this week. I really do. Right. You're right, Miller. So I hope everybody have a good rest of your day today and have a good Saturday afternoon. That's the great thing about this week is we don't have to wait till nighttime to watch this game. We don't have to wake up early and we don't have to wait late. It's like the perfect thing. It's right in the middle. It's like the Three Little Bears. It's just right. And we got to come out and do our thing and keep this game close. And I truly believe this is one for the taking. So I appreciate all you guys watching. And for everybody who watch on replay, I appreciate you watching the replay. Since you're watching, if you're not subscribed to the channel, just go hit the subscribe button for me. I appreciate it. And while you're hitting the subscribe button, go to the locker. Locker is in quotation marks. So it's THE, open quote, locker, close quote. Go subscribe to that. Myself and Anthony White, we on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a show that you should not miss. I appreciate all you guys and girls. Hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you next week when we're 7-0 going to a bye week to lick our wounds and start getting healthy. Y'all have a good weekend.